change things.
So you just came over across the pond like yesterday?
I arrived last night at the hotel about 12.
Oh my God.
The flight was delayed about 4 hours, so well, I'm not complaining, but this has really pepped me up.
Hey, all the way here for you guys.
Fantastic!
Now I know you've traveled the world for professionally or for leisure, but do you have a place that you like to visit most often? Like, what's your, whether it's vacation or for work, like what's your place you like to visit?
Well, I'm happiest most of all when I'm with my two children, Albert and Esme. Albert's 11, Esme's 9. We go to Cornwall a lot, which is the southwest of England. But they've got a little bit sick of that, so I took them there too much. But in America, I really love New Orleans. And I love Austin too. And of course, Washington.
Now my kids have made it just past the 9 and 10-year-old phase, and they went from thinking I was like the coolest human on the planet to like they don't want to even be in the same room, So
my kids never thought I was cool.
I was gonna ask you you're so cool. Like, what do you think about that?
No, my son said to me once when he was about 5 or 6. He said, a guy came up to me, Dad, and said that you're the best doctor. Wait for it. He said, does that mean you're good at making people feel better? I showed them Doctor Who, and they were terrified. Because it wasn't just the fact that the show could be frightening, it was that their dad was in jeopardy, which was very sweet as well.
Well, speaking of, just kids, of course we have so many movies in the room, but before we get into that, if you go back to when you were like 9 or 10, we have so many fans here of so many things. What were you a fan of, like when you were 9 or 10 years old? Remember?
First actor I thought was real and true was Jimmy Cagney in White Heat and Top of the World Man in that film, and also in Angels with Dirty Faces. Cagney I thought was incredible because he was so real, but he could also do the song and dance thing. And then there was an actor called Patrick McGoohan, yeah, British actor, who did a show called Danger Man, which I loved, and then he then went on to do The Prisoner. And me and my dad were massive Trekkies. Yeah. And the rest of the time, I was running about in the streets. I like TV, but I like running around in the streets playing football, not soccer. You kick it with your foot. You don't sock it with your foot.
Well, I gotta think, no one grows up thinking that they're gonna be the nice doctor or be a doctor, except when you were growing up, did you have aspirations to act and be in entertainment?
No, I wanted to play football for Manchester United. And I still do. It's a true story. I dream that I'm playing for Manchester United nearly every night. And Alex Ferguson, who was the greatest manager who ever lived, every time I glance at him, he's just going like this. It came to me probably around, I was put in a play when I was 17, and they allowed me to put eyeliner on. You know, black eyeliner? And one of the girls afterwards said, oh, your eyes might look nice. So I thought I'm going to be an actor.
Well, from that point on, what was the thing that kind of helped you take your first step into acting?
Well, I trained for 2 years at the Salford College of Technology, which is where I grew up. And this is 1981, and there was a massive amount of unemployment and depression. Thank you, Margaret Thatcher. Thank you, Ronald Reagan. In my country, for both countries really, for blue collar people, let's be honest. And I just wanted to get out of Manchester. I just wanted to get away from the kind of jobs, with respect, that my mum and dad and my brothers had to do. And somebody told me that all the drama schools were in London. So I heard London, and that was me. And I got into a drama school, did 3 years, didn't work for 3 years after I got out. Thought I was going to give up acting. And then I got a lead in a feature film, and then suddenly I was an actor.
Now, you really haven't been doing a lot of conventions till more recently, like I guess like the past few years, pre-pandemic, and then now. What has it meant to you to sort of like re-enter this world and just sort of really re-enter like Doctor Who fandom and all that? What has it meant to you?
I resisted the conventions because I thought I would be ripping you all off financially. That was my conviction. I'm still not utterly convinced that we're not doing that. And I say that with seriousness, but it's been an incredibly positive thing in my life, because I've realised that people, when they meet a doctor, always have a personal connection with the show and their particular favourite doctor. And I've been told some incredibly emotional. Even today, I hope the gentleman's here. Right at the beginning of the day, I hope this gentleman here is here and he doesn't mind me sharing it. He'd done service in Iraq, and he'd suffered from PTSD. And of course, my doctor had that. And he said that it helped him. So, as a human being, to get that kind of information, and that was the first person I spoke to this morning, and we both cried. Two big tough guys crying in a convention. It's you know, it's wonderful, and I'm very grateful for it. And my son and daughter are very grateful for it, so thank you.
Well, I'm going to kick us off with a couple of Doctor Who related questions, but we do have a couple of microphones here under these lights, and so if you have a question, line up and I'll get with you guys shortly. All right, so you know, Doctor Who had been this huge phenomenon in England and around the world, and but it had been dormant for some time, and so when the idea of the Doctor coming back and you coming into, how did you intersect with that? And was it something that you were reluctant, maybe you were excited? What were your sort of thoughts about, and how did that role come for you?
I did a show with Russell T Davies in 2002 called The Second Coming. And at that time, Russell was one of my favourite writers, very political writer. Queer as Folk, the show that he wrote in the early 2000s, changed a lot of things for gay people in my country and in my town, because it's set in the gay village in Manchester. And I loved working with him, I loved his writing, and I heard that the next thing he was going to do was Doctor Who, and because I thought he was a great writer, I emailed him and said audition me, so I made it happen. I wasn't a fan of the show, please don't kill me.
You get a pass.
I was a fan of the writing, so I asked to be auditioned and I got the role.
It's especially in this the new era of this live on, like it was such a, such an incredible, and there's no show like it. So when you first did that role for that whole year, and when it first started out to when it concluded, did your expectations change? Like, as far as what you expected going into it versus what you got out of it?
Yeah, I was not aware of the phenomenon that it is. I wasn't. It was a job to me, and because if you start to think of, if you're playing Hamlet or Macbeth, if you start to think of all the baggage that comes with it, you can't do the job. So I blocked it all out. And it's only subsequently at the conventions, and maybe in the first couple of months, when I was mobbed at an airport in Manchester, when the show was running, that I realised the passion. And then when you come to America and to European countries and see fandom, that's when the penny drops.
Well, a question that inevitably every fan always asks, which we need to get this out of the way, is we know it was a while ago and you moved on to many other projects, but is there a particular episode that sort of stands out as one that you enjoyed shooting or experiencing, or something that kind of, as you look back at your time as a doctor, as your favorite episode?
As a television maker, I was 25 years into a career when I'd made a lot of television, a lot of films, and I really felt with The Empty Child. Which was written, that's my agent. Which was written brilliantly by Stephen Moffat. I really felt, I think that's the best thing we did in that series. I knew that people were going to be terrified, particularly children, and I understood that my job was, to a certain extent, make sure there was still fun in the fear, in the way the doctor reacted to the gas mask children. I think that was,
Yeah, I also tried to introduce my kids to Doctor Who, and it didn't make it past the mannequins in the first episode. It was just too much. Tell us about working with, two brilliant writers, Russell T. Davies, Stephen Moffat. What was it like?
There were other writers as well on the show, but Russell, it was Russell's vision. He's the person who is responsible for this resurgence. He feminized it, I think, by using, there was a time where the female assistant ran around in bikinis, and Russell changed that. He empowered the female character in it, Billie Piper's Rose. I think that was the first step, and then perhaps me doing it in a blue-collar accent was another step towards what we have today, where really he's all about humanity, and the show is all about humanity and inclusion and equality. There are subtle ways to be political, and I'm proud to be part of that.
Why don't we go to our fans here? Let's go to the left over here. Tell us your name, how many awesome cons, and then your one question. One, please. Go ahead.
My name is Mary. This is my second year at AwesomeCon. And something we know about the doctors is that they usually have input in what their outfit looks like. So I'd like to know what your inspiration was for picking your outfit for the show.
In episode 1, Russell T. Davies had written, there was quite a lot of debate at the time. Some of the costumes for the doctors had got a little too florid. And there'd actually been a change in the way superheroes were presented, more physical. And I suppose I was a physical actor. So I thought about that. So the boots were very practical, grounded. And he mentioned that the guy he wears a leather jacket. Russell was trying to modernize him. Actually, Russell used to wear a brown leather jacket. So I put it together, really. I'm sure by the second series, everybody was in the you know, when you do the first series of a show like this, everybody thought it was a folly. Everybody thought it was Russell T Davies's and Chris Eccleston's folly. Nobody thought it would work. So all those things, you were just left to do it. But I would imagine when David Tennant turned up, everybody was in the room giving an opinion, which is why I would have lasted 5 minutes, you know, and I'd listen. So I had a lot of input into but I think what happened with the show is the costume. There's some brilliant actors, but the costume became a performance. And I just wanted to be practical, and I wanted it to be about the two hearts and the mind. Nice leather jacket.
Yeah, I was just saying. Representing us. Hi, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Austin, and I've been coming to AwesomeCon for a very long time now. I think this is my 6th or 7th year, and I have to say, there were episodes like Dalek that, well, I believe, as you used to put it, fantastic. And I have to ask, how did you get into the headspace for that episode? Like the whole shell-shocked veteran dealing with the last, or at least at that moment, the last of the Daleks. Like, how did you get into the right mind space for that?
It's all about the writing. If you say the lines, you're in the mind space. I mean, a lot of actors talk about process. You know, and I went to a very dark place. And I think, well, I spoke to a veteran from Iraq this morning. Actors don't go to dark places. It's bullshit. It's about the writing. And then it's about your imagination and your instinct. And it's also about having fun, you know, it's pretend. You're just pretending. My kids do it all the time, they're amazing actors. They just don't get paid.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Caitlin.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I'm getting old.
okay. Hi, my name is Caitlin. It's my 2nd year at AwesomeCon. First off, I just have to say thank you. You are my first doctor. You are the one that made me love Doctor Who. I don't think Doctor Who would be here today if it weren't for your performance. So,
Here.
It's very nice of you to say, but it's always about the writers first, you know it is. But I was the tip of an iceberg, and I was grateful to be here, but thank you.
So my question is, if you could travel with one other doctor's companion, who would it be?
No. Fundamentalist Rose. I don't like all that. Rose is my Rose. Multi-doctor, I don't like it. It becomes about the doctor and the Rose rather than the doctor and the assistant or the 6 doctors. Not interested. I'm interested in humanity and the adventure and the aliens. Belongs to Rose. End of. Nobody comes close.
Thank you so much.
Was there a particular villain or alien that you found was interesting or had the most potential to explore?
I think the children with the gas masks. I think, and I know we're all adults in here, but it is a children's show as well. And to take the audience and make them the antagonist. If I'd have been a 10-year-old kid, I'd have thought, I'm going to get a gas mask on and terrify my mum and dad. That was a master stroke. But the Dalek, because the Dalek clearly is fascism. It's clearly a representation of Nazi Germany. It's got to be. And So that is fascinating. And the fact that, of course, the Daleks are the Doctor's kryptonite. Oh, I'm going cross-genre now, aren't I? Those two, yeah. Oh, and I really liked the ones that look like baked potatoes. Tell me their name.
All right, go ahead over here.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Julia. I just want to follow up saying that The Empty Child and the Doctor dances are my favorite episodes. So it's such a great storyline, and I wholeheartedly agree. The writing in your series was fantastic. So thank you.
Thank you.
And so I am very happy that your story has continued in the Big Finish audio stories. What has been your favorite story that you've been able to explore in the audioverse?
I'm going to have to tease you a bit here. I did something for the 60th anniversary with one of the greatest British actors who ever walked the planet, and one of the most beautiful human beings who has since passed. And that's in the can. And if he'd have played the Doctor, Tom Baker, John Pertwee, you would not have heard of any of them. If this actor, he's the definitive actor who should have played the Doctor. So I did something with him where we are both somebody. And that's upcoming.
Thank you very much for being here.
It's a lovely dress you have on too. If you noticed, I've been going to Comic-Cons for 20 years now, and every fandom has an amazing representation of cosplay, but Doctor Who cosplay is at a whole level. It's incredible. The creativity, the diversity, it's amazing. The mashups, all it's amazing.
I think that's because, the series changes and the Doctors change. So you can mash up and you can get fluid.
Absolutely, so please go ahead.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Liz. She, her. Lovely to meet you.
Hi.
This is my first AwesomeCon, and most people know that you kind of had a complicated relationship with Doctor Who for a number of years after you left the show.
I have a complicated relationship with everything. Don't we all?
What was your first step to, kind of having an improved relationship to where you could start coming to cons and things like that? Like, how did you get to that point?
Bankruptcy,
I was wondering about that.
divorce, custody battles. Sorry. Yeah, listen, people lie, don't they? Money.
That's good.
I'm sorry.
No?
I'd love to say, because I love you all. It's a job as well. I loved playing the Doctor. I did not love some of the people I had to work with. Just like you don't like to love, everybody who works in your office or on your building site. I loved playing the Doctor. And doing the conventions, the first convention I did, I was stunned by the personal stories. I'm an actor, my job is to study people. And I get so much information from you all. I get so much material. Really. And the standard of the writing on Big Finish. I can't believe that some of the dramas I've recorded for audio have not been used visually in the television series. That's the thing about Big Finish, that their writers are top draw.
I had you heard about Big Finish.
Yeah, Big Finish audio is really, they're some really great writers.
Thank you so much. We're so happy to give you our money.
Thank you. Very happy to take it.
Let's give it up for money. Yeah!
I'm talking about money.
All right, over here.
Hi, I'm Francis. This is my third AwesomeCon.
Well, my original question was taken, so I got to this instead now.
You've got a British accent.
Yeah, a long time ago, but I moved here when I was 10, which is back in 2006.
Still in there? Whereabouts?
Somehow.
Whereabouts are you from?
Oxford, very long time ago.
Okay.
But, first question I had was, did you get to keep the jacket? And the second is, was it Bernard Cribbins you were just talking about? With the tease.
No, I didn't get to keep anything. Apart from my 2 hearts.
Fantastic.
It wasn't Bernard Cribbins, no. But that was a very good punt. And he was amazing, Bernard Cribbins. He's somebody else who we've lost. And of course, we lost Glenda Jackson.
Yeah.
And what an influence she was on me. Wow.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Let's take a Doctor Who detour and talk about, you've been a part of helping to build the Marvel Cinematic Universe with your role as Malekith in Thor: The Dark World. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of makeup, and I mean, it was just like, tell us about that experience, and what was that like?
I've never met so many producers called Bob in my life. Hey Chris, this is Bob. This is Bob. This is Bob. This is John. This is Bob, and Bob. And none of them told me that I was going to be in makeup for 8 hours. They said there's going to be a little bit of makeup. Chris Hemsworth was an absolute gentleman. Alan Taylor, who directed it, everybody was great on it, but I was with the makeup artist all the time. But it was nice to see the reaction to it. But I don't know why they hired me, really, because it doesn't look like me. Apart from the ears, of course. No, it was an interesting experience. Not the most creative of my roles, I have to say.
But you were brilliant.
Thank you.
All right, over here. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Wendy. This is my first Awesome Con.
What's the name of the person on your head, Wendy?
It's Pipla.
Of course.
It's Pipla. I was wondering, are you my mummy? Actually, I was wondering if any of the episodes have ever given you nightmares. Because they have me. So I was wondering if I'm the only one.
Some of the people I had to work with have given me that. No, I think if anyone would have done it, would have been the Dalek episode, because I shot that when my father, Ronnie, had dementia and was diagnosed with esophageal cancer, and he was in intensive care, and I was with him for about a week, from about 12 at night until 4 in the morning, watching my beautiful father, who had dementia, fighting, and I remember going in to shoot that after 2 weeks away with a certain amount of anger, a certain level of emotional turmoil and anger. So maybe that got all mixed up. I was never scared of the Slovenes, never. You're welcome.
Yes, over here.
Hi, my name is Damien. This is my 7th Awesome Con. Chris is someone who I did the opposite of you. I went from London to Manchester for a while and actually spent a lot of time on Canal Street in the village during the era of career, I suppose. So,
you naughty boy.
I want to thank you for bringing kind of that blue-collar influence to the Doctor and bringing it back to us. My question is completely unrelated. Who do you think is going to win the Ashes, and what do you think the score will be?
Now, getting into it now.
I was obsessed with sport at school, and the only game I didn't like was cricket. Because cricket interrupted me playing football. But from what I know, didn't somebody score a century yesterday?
Yeah, Root got a century yesterday.
And then they declared.
Just got a century today.
And then they declared. Who got a century today?
It was Waja, so the opener from Australia.
I can't believe I'm in America talking about cricket. What? England are going to win the Ashes. Thank you.
Kids, Google cricket. Another detour for more questions.
It's baseball with pretensions.
Another quick detour. You played Destro, one of my favorite childhood villains. Destro. I had a 3/4 inch figure of you. So tell us about playing Destro. What was that like for 2 films?
Again, it was an interesting makeup experience because I got my face burnt off. And then I was waiting for playing Destro with the metal face. And we thought we were creating a franchise there, but we didn't. I think there was problems at a script level myself. I think it was a massively, particularly the portrayal of Destro, it's fascinating. And we had, great actor playing G.I. Joe. It was a missed opportunity, as Hollywood so often does, sadly. It was just thinking about the money and the franchise before it was thinking about the actual film. But again, our lead actor was a gentleman and I met a lot of great people on it.
Well, I don't want to give you spoilers, but if you've seen a particular movie, there was a particular little teaser that's G.I. Joe might not be over, but...
Well, they never called me. He was playing Metal Face.
We'll leave it at that, so, alright.
Who's playing Destro? My agent's over there, actually. Oh, he's drunk.
Alright, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Sarah Elspeth. Quick shout out. Speaking of great writers, I got to meet Robert Shearman a few years ago, and just applause to that man. He had nothing but kind things to say about me.
Oh, thank you.
Also, my question is also Big Finish related. What's it been like coming back to the Ninth Doctor, now knowing your impact on the fandom? Because when you first did it, you weren't familiar really with Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So, what's it like?
It was very easy. Because the scripts were, the writers had obviously absorbed what the writers had created in that first series and what I'd brought to it. And so it was all there for me. And it's been tremendous fun. We go to this, what we call in the UK, an industrial estate, 10 miles up the Devil's Arsehole, horrible place. And we create this magic in this tiny space, and we recorded some during COVID, so I would be the only person in the studio and everybody else would have to phone in, which was not fun, because the fun is, when you do a Big Finish audio, is for everybody to be together. But it was just like putting on a pair of very comfortable old boots. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
My name is Michael. I was wondering, you did a movie called Jude back in the 1990s. What was that like?
Oh, that's probably my favourite film that I've been involved in. And nobody saw it.
I saw it.
I remember speaking to a high-ranking guy at Polygraph Film back in the 90s, and he said to me, if Jude would have come out after Elizabeth, which I was in, and after Titanic, which Kate Winslet was in, and Kate was the female lead of Jude, you'd have probably gone to the Oscars. It's business, It It was a business thing. Our visibility, mine and Kate's visibility, for a film that was so dark wasn't strong enough, because it is a dark film, but directed by one of the greatest British film directors, Michael Winterbottom. And it was a particular favourite of mine because Jude is a blue-collar stonemason who dreams of going to Oxford and Cambridge and learning classical Greek and Latin. It was an argument for inclusion with education. It was an argument that everybody deserves a good education. And that money should not buy you education. And that's very important in my country, because Boris Johnson, the only reason he became Prime Minister is because he had money for an education, and look what he did with it. He lied, you know. So, moving swiftly on from the politics. So thank you for mentioning Jude.
Looks like we have the 11th doctor asking you a question over here. Go ahead.
Hello, Matt.
Hello. My name is Justin, and this is about my 4th AwesomeCon, and it is a pleasure to meet you. You were my first doctor, actually. And you as the 9th Doctor, you had such a groundedness in the role, but you also had a charming quirkiness. And I just wanted to know how much of that was your doing, or the director. You also had the iconic, fantastic.
You never listen to directors.
What was the process like coming up with that character, and can you say fantastic as the 9th Doctor for us?
If you're good, Matt. If you're good, Matt. I based it on Russell T Davies, really. The craziness of. If you ever see Russell at a panel, I based it on Russell. Half Russell, half me. And it was fantastic.
Thank you very much.
We have about a minute left, and we have another doctor here to ask a question.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I've been coming to AwesomeCon for about 8 years. I was originally going to come during 2020 when you were playing and showing up, but obviously that didn't work out.
Yeah.
But my question is, you've been doing your own stuff with Big Finish, and Billy Piper has as well. Is there any chance that you two will do another thing together for them?
I think you should ask Big Finish that, shouldn't you? And my agent's drunk in the corner if you want to.
Okay, I think this might be our last question, so go ahead.
Hello, my name is Eric, and this is my 5th year at AwesomeCon, and I would like to ask you if you could write up a script for Doctor Who at this point, what would the storyline be, and which folks would you choose to act in this one with you? So that's what I would like to ask you.
I'd return as the Doctor. Donald Trump. And Boris Johnson would play themselves. I would have a huge liar gun razor, and I'd take them into a darkened room and speak to them.
Wonderful question. What do we have as we conclude? Anything to look forward to? What's next for you?
So I've just fulfilled an ambition of a lifetime and acted opposite Jodie Foster. And they say don't meet your heroes. I say meet your heroes. So I'm in the new series of True Detective with Jodie Foster. I did a film called The Young Woman and the Sea, playing a German, Jewish, Scottish swimming instructor opposite Daisy Ridley. And I think on Monday or Tuesday of this week there's going to be an announcement in London about a theatre job that I'm going to do, but I can't say anything yet.
And then we witnessed at the con for the weekend.
Just here today.
Just here today. All right.